We are live.
Hello, everyone. On behalf of the leaders of All India Ophthalmological Society, we welcome you all to the 5th International Ophthalmic Conclave, a premier global gathering of ophthalmic professionals. This unique conclave brings together renowned experts from across the world to share their knowledge, experiences, and cutting-edge research in the field of ophthalmology. Over the next 36 hours, we will take you 360-degree around the globe to embark a comprehensive journey covering the interesting sessions on the latest advancements, techniques, and best practices in ophthalmic care. Before we start with the first power-packed session of Women Ophthalmic Society and Women Ophthalmologists Worldwide, we would like to extend our sincere gratitude to our esteemed faculty, sponsors, and supporters to make this conclave possible through different time zones. Your contributions are invaluable. This session is a proof of how one vibrant woman's vision and leadership has brought together a new era of collaboration between women of ophthalmology worldwide. Thank you, Dr. Mohita Sharma, for being a shining example of strength, dedication, and excellence. I request the moderator of our session, Dr. Maya Hara, to please proceed and go ahead with the session. Over to you, Dr. Maya.
Thank you so much, Dr. Rolika. And on behalf of WOS and WOW, we are thankful to Dr. Santosh Honawar, the General Secretary of AIOS, for providing us this platform. So I welcome you all to the AIOS IOC 2025. And now the session begins with the introduction of our chairpersons. And we have two chairpersons over here, Dr. Mohita Sharma, the founder secretary of WOS and WOW. And also we have Dr. Aarti Nangia with us. So let me introduce our chairpersons first. Let me share. Can you see the screen?
Not yet, ma'am.
Okay. Okay. Oh. Okay. So is it visible now?
Yes, ma'am.
All right. So Dr. Mohita Sharma, as she needs no introduction, she is the founder secretary of WOW, that is Women Ophthalmology Worldwide, and Women Ophthalmological Society of India, which is a conglomeration of more than 2,500 women ophthalmologists, which also run so many projects, including Rare Eye Disease Project, WINAR, and so many more to name. She is also a general secretary of UP Society of Ophthalmology, and she is a founder and chairperson of Tirupati Eye Center. She holds many administrative posts in IMA Noida, Rotary Club, and she is an inspiration and a role model for all the women ophthalmologists of India. And we look forward to hear from Dr. Mohita Sharma on her talk on WOS and WOW together. Over to you, ma'am.
Just give me 30 seconds. Yeah, hello everybody. And it is a pleasure to be a part of this session and to be amongst all of you women ophthalmologists, and especially with the topic which talks about power as well as balance. And the whole topic for today is power and balance. And I feel these are the two things that are synonymous with women. Whenever we talk about women, we talk about balance, but I also am very happy to see that now we are also talking about power when it is to do with women. So, coming to my topic today, which is the power of coming together. So, basically, Women Ophthalmologists Worldwide and Women Ophthalmologists Society of India are both examples of women ophthalmologists coming together, and how in isolation we are not able to ever perform as good as we can perform when we are all together at on one platform and supporting each other. And I will just go through briefly. Many of you are familiar with WOW as well as WOS, but I will go through briefly about WOW and WOS for those who are yet not familiar with the two organizations. Thank you, Maya. Thank you, Rolika, for making this happen. And thank you to Dr. Santosh Ranawar for making this happen. It's a pleasure to see you, Rolika. Of course, Maya, but Rolika, you have been a little far from all of us, but our constant touch with you and constant news about you doing well makes us so happy and so proud.
That's so sweet of you, ma'am. Thank you.
So in 2025, we all came together in 2015, and here now we are in 2025, and I will go through what we are in 2025. This is how we started with a group of 20 women coming together in 2015, and today we are around 3,000 members. We have 22 state chapters, and we have held 8 annual conferences, and we have had several activities throughout the year related to WOS and WOW. So this is all about Women Ophthalmology Society of India. As I said, when we are in isolation, things get compounded. Whatever the challenges are, they get compounded. There are some of us who are the brave ones and who are able to do things alone also, but majority of us do much better when we are together, and that is the whole purpose of this society being there. So it is all about being different, and it is all about being mentors and mentoring those who need the mentoring and vice versa. And it is not that if you're a mentor, we don't need mentoring. It is both ways. Sometimes a mentor, it becomes a mentee, and sometimes the mentee becomes a mentor. So when we did a need analysis for what Women Ophthalmology Society needed to do, these were the top requirements: skill enhancement, help in practices, and visibility. And this is how it has been working on. These are just pictures of how it started with men as well as women mentors. And then there were speaker opportunities for the visibility. And these are just photographs of various activities that keep happening throughout the year, starting from the beginning in 2015 up till now. And here we are sitting today also on one such platform. There have been a lot of first time evers, and this has been some of the highlights have been mentored live surgeries, where the junior women have been operating and the seniors have been mentors. There has been Shark Tank with new innovations. There have been international award-winning sessions which have been presented in these platforms. There have been postgraduate sessions in such a manner that all the postgraduates also get a chance to present. And there has been a lot about life skills apart from clinical skills. So these are some of the pictures of the conferences. As you can see, this is of the last conference. There are a lot of sessions which are related to industry. So it is also that industry involves, the concept is that the ophthalmologists come together with industries, and this is again one bond which needs to be really strengthened. On the right side, you can see a flyer on genetics, and this is again women ophthalmologists coming together with scientists and with geneticists to create a new platform where clinicians also start getting involved in genetics. So it's not just all the women ophthalmologists coming together. It is a lot of other opportunities also, whether it is with industry or it is with scientists or with researchers, that has been happening. These are the state chapter meetings which have been happening, where focus has been on skill enhancement, women's health, finance management, and research. There have been, as I said, resident programs. There is this project Archana happening, which is to do with dissatisfied patients, angry patients, violent patients, and mobs, where we share with each other how to deal with such patients, such that we are able to learn from each other's challenges and the way they have overcome these challenges. There is this Project Shakti happening, led by Dr. J.B. Mittal from Lucknow, which is to do with workplace challenges, where we again learn lessons from how others manage. This entrepreneurs wing, which was launched just late last year, has plans of setting up dry eye clinics, contact lens clinics, quality initiatives for infection control under the leadership of Dr. Samina Zamindar from Bangalore, India, and meetings on return on investment, so important nowadays and so important for especially for women ophthalmologists to learn. There is research happening with its own ethics committee, with its own website, which is giving all the opportunities. And this idea of similar to Shark Tank that was started a few years back is now in this year going to be put forward in a bigger way with newer ideas. These are photographs of how these ideas have been presented, selected, and some of the studies completed, and not just on clinical research, but on molecular research also. Soon you will be hearing about it in this year, where more new ideas would be flowing in, and together, along with scientists, we could make some changes. And these are photographs of the previous training sessions which were held, multicentric studies that were held, and the red group, the rare eye disease group. This group is working aggressively now on certain rare eye diseases as well as rare aspects of some diseases. And this was the red eye issue, again, thanks to Dr. Santosh, one of its kind document. And the rare eye disease group plans to work on these rare diseases and combine it with genetics, so that it becomes a new frontier for clinicians. And there is a genetics brigade which was already created last year, towards the late last year, and this would be taken forward this year. And along with this, there is this WAS care group for short-term fellowships as well as trainings, which will be very active again this year. Talking about WOW, this is about WAS, which is a Society of India. Talking about WOW, this was launched a few years back, considering that there are certain such societies existing all over the world, but there are very few and more need to be made. And hence, the main aim of WOW is initiation of new women ophthalmologist organizations, strengthening of the already existing ones, and having collaborations and networks amongst various organizations. So the activities include webinars, combined academic activities, combined exchange programs, and collaborative research, as well as combined conferences and voluntary work. So these are some of the pictures of the WOW and some of the webinars which have been connecting various women ophthalmologist organizations all over the world. And this is of previous year, and here we are sitting together here on another international conclave, which is connecting many countries and which is being viewed by many countries, and there's a participation of many countries here. So these are, and apart from this, some chapters of WOW have been formed in, for example, an Nepal chapter has been formed, Sri Lanka chapter has been formed, and they are also working for the benefit of women ophthalmologists because of initiation through WOW. And some collaborative surveys have been planned, and there are a lot of speaker opportunities which are happening through WOW. So first annual conference of WOW happened in 2022. These are some of the pictures of that. There's a Facebook page, there's a website, and you're all invited to become members of WOW. And some of the countries where there are no chapter, there are no separate organizations, there the country reps have been nominated, and they have started working on the same cause. So that's about the Nepal chapter. Finally, this is a slide which is my favorite, and it says that this is valid not just for me, it's for everybody, each one of us. I alone cannot change the world, but I can cast a stone across the waters to create many ripples. And there are several women all over the world who are now casting these stones to not just create ripples, but to make it a tsunami. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much, Mohita ma'am. It's always a pleasure to listen to you. And thank you for enlightening all of us about what WAS and WOW offers to all women ophthalmologists for their professional upliftment. I also welcome here our another chairperson, Dr. Aarti Nangia. She has just joined us. And let me introduce Dr. Aarti. So Dr. Aarti is the state chapter head of Haryana, and she is also a founder pillar of WAS and WOW. And she is the principal director of and the head of the ophthalmology unit at Max presently. And she has been associated with multiple hospitals earlier, like she was a business entrepreneur earlier at Center for Sight and was associated with Sight Avenue also. I welcome you, Dr. Aarti, in this.
Thank you, Maya. It is a privilege to be in such a coveted meeting. It was a privilege to hear Dr. Mohita. Just go ahead. I don't want to stop you from this meeting.
All right. So after Dr. Mohita, it's me on the line to speak upon the power of social media. We have so many power-packed talks over here. So I'll be sharing my screen. All right. So is it visible?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. All right. So power of social media. We all know there are so many social media tools and platforms. which
It's on presenter view right now.
All right. Okay.
Sorry to interrupt.
Okay.
The play from the start part would be good. Yes, ma'am.
Is it okay? Okay.
Perfect.
So, why the online presence is necessary? We all know that the everything is now going to be online, and everyone has accessibility to all the recommendations, everything online. And similar is in the healthcare. And it was an old school thing that doctor refers to doctor. Now the patients are acquiring knowledge and getting self referrals by looking out for you online. So your online present and accessible portal is imperative. Social media usage by doctors has risen dramatically from 40% in 2010 to 90% over a period of 1 year. So this shows the impact of social media in our lives. So it's just not important for your patients, but also important for your peers and colleagues, because they must know where you're practicing, what is your subspecialty, and so that they can refer the patient accordingly to you. And you must showcase, not must, but you can showcase what you are doing, like challenging cases or the cases with good surgical outcomes. If you have acquired any latest equipment of technology, or if you have got any achievement of award, the key is not to overdo it. You have to do it in a measured way. Your post or your page should not, it should not echo just me. So you have to do it in a measured way so that it does not bore your colleagues or your patients. So which social media channel is best for ophthalmologist? There are so many on the board. Facebook, Insta, and YouTube are the one which are the most popular one, which can help you build influence, attract new patients, connect with peers and patients, and generate website traffic. The website, getting your own website is the single most important thing that you can do to build up your practice. And because you can just put your information in your own way. And this is most important, the thing for your patients, the way they can connect with you, whether it's online or offline. uh, you have to be responsive for their queries. And to build up a website, you have to first register a domain, then build the content, and then later you can build the site. Facebook is the necessary evil in all of our lives, and nobody can escape that nowadays. It has advantage that you can connect with your family, friends, and peers. At the same time, you can put a professional page which is separate from your personal page, and you can connect with your patients also. The average age of user of Facebook is around 40 years, and it has a limited reach if you compare it with the Insta or YouTube or website. But definitely, it has a role in building your profile. You can put post on self-promotion conferences over there. Instagram is basically a photo-based app, and which is the incoming thing right now, because the key of Instagram is using hashtags. And if you put right hashtags, people search for those hashtags. If you, for example, if you are putting LASIK or cataract or a ptosis surgery, and the seeker who is looking for those hashtags will reach you and can personally connect with you. So it's extremely useful if used well, and potential generation is very high, and the average age of user is around 23 to 25 years. One good thing is you can merge platforms from Instagram. You can put a YouTube channel link over there, you can put the website link over there, and you can connect it, merge it with the Facebook also. So that's a good thing about Instagram. YouTube, it has a wildest reach, and you can put your surgical videos, teaching or information videos over there, information talks over there. You can put good reviews or feedback or videos of the patients over there. But keep in mind that whatever videos you are putting of your surgeries, it should be high quality, it should be relevant, it should be frequent. You have to be consistent. It's not like you put a video in a month or two and then just forget about it. You have to be consistent, then only the people will follow you or subscribe you. So what content can be posted? You have to be very balanced and very meticulous in your social media post. And original content is what will give you more, authenticity. So promotional content is like just like a desert in the end. And most of your content should be original, curated, and practice updates. So practice updates build authenticity. That is the key. You have to be very cautious. You have, while posting photographs of the patients, consent should be there. Don't put any controversial post, including any politics, religion, sports, Bollywood, etc. You have to follow guidelines. There are nowadays American Medical Association guidelines which are available for social media posts for doctors. So, in this news, there was the doctor which was fired because Facebook sharing of the patient info was not, called for. So, wow, and social media. We know that, as Dr. Mohita told us, there is a page of Women Ophthalmological Society of India on Facebook. We have WOW YouTube channel as well as Insta page. And through these pages and channels, the information is disseminated in the users, and we keep our members updated about whatever upcoming events are there. And in fact, WOW was launched during COVID times, and it was launched online, and all the members across the borders, they connected virtually on this platform. And these are the few pictures of networking across the borders during COVID time. Also, we see that whenever there is a conference of WOS or WOW, the social media gets flooded with the pictures of these conferences. And what better way than social media can be to depict the strength and cohesiveness of WOS. And also, when we are putting the post of the vibrance and the colorful part of the society, we're also putting post of, depicting the power of women ophthalmologists. It's not just one-sided that Women Ophthalmological Society is very just colorful, vibrant, but at the same time it's having much scientific content. And it's, in this picture you can see all female ophthalmologists who were the live surgeons, which was for the first time in any of the conference. Also, the presence of WOS at prestigious platforms is being depicted by the social media post. So now I'm just going to share a survey which was done under Dr. Famida Kirani. Actually, Dr. Famida was supposed to take this topic upon, but because of the time zone difference, she could not make it. So a cross-sectional survey of ophthalmologists during COVID-19. Dr. Famida, she is our current WOW president and president of Canadian Ophthalmological Oculoplastic Surgery Society also. So just to give you a brief background about this survey, why is social media important in ophthalmology? Because it can help you connect across the geographic, financial, and time constraints. Then it can enhance this access to the mentorship and sponsorship also. So the study objectives of this survey was characterize the usage pattern of social media based upon the age, gender, and career stage. Then explore the respondents' motivations for using social media for personal and career development, and understand the role of social media in provision of equitable mentorship during COVID-19. So they prepared a questionnaire, a 40-item questionnaire, to assess the utilization of social media for personal and career development. And participants were mainly residents, fellows, and practicing ophthalmologists in North America. And they analyzed that how much time do we spend on social media. So over 2/3 of the recruitees, they spend around 1 hour daily on social media, and 19% more than 2 hours. And the young respondents were spending more time than the older ones. And mainly it was Insta, LinkedIn, and Facebook, which was more or less equally affected. And this was the pattern of using of social media. Most of the time they were using it to stay in touch with friends and family. And like 12% were using it for self-promotion, practice promotion, and for professional services. And then for educating patients or public about their field, 12%. Sharing interesting clinical cases, surgical cases, finding mentorship, networking opportunities, and so on. So women were more likely to report challenges with workplace discrimination and work-life harmony. Social media was perceived to be useful in dealing with these challenges. Younger respondents were more likely to report challenges with practice management and work-life harmony. And trainees were more likely to report difficulties with career advancement, financial planning, and practice management. So there are individual views of many respondents. I will not go into the details. So social media, as we all know, is a double-edged sword. And although it can provide a community and network, uh, I feel gender discrimination is rampant on these platforms. This was one of the statement from a trainee. So it's a double-edged sword, as told by a late career ophthalmologist. So thank you for your patient hearing.
Thank you, Dr. Maya. You have actually made us aware of where we can and where we should not go and how much time we should spend on the social media. Absolutely right. I'm sure that I fall in the 2 hours category and I should cut it down to less than 1 hour category. Right.
Right. So let me move on to the session. Carry on. Now we have Dr. Parul Gupta. Dr. Parul Gupta will be talking about power of negotiation. Let me introduce Dr. Parul. So Dr. Parul is the secretary of Bhatinda Ophthalmological Society, and she is also the executive member of Punjab Ophthalmological Society. She is practicing in her own clinic, and she is a phaco-refractive and medical retina specialist trained from GMC Patiala, and she is a fellow from Drishti Netralaya, Gujarat. We look forward to hear from you, Dr. Parul. Over to you.
Let's share the screen. Yes, I'm just sharing the screen now.
Are you able to share, Dr. Parul?
Yes, ma'am, I'm opening the system settings. Just a minute.
Till we hear from Dr. Dr. Maya, I would like to ask you about how do you prefer to handle your social media? Like on your personal experience with social media.
So it's so different to, preach others and adapt it in your personal life. And I always think that I will start my YouTube channel, I will start my website, and I will post. I have so many, an amalgam of so many different cases being in a public sector. So I have started my Instagram page, which is different from my personal page. And I'm getting inspired from my oculoplastic, doyens like Dr. Milind Nayak, Dr. Akshay. So, and getting inspired from them, I'm looking forward to, initiate in the same way.
Right. And do you also agree that there should be 2 Instagram handles, one for your own personal life and maybe you want to
Totally.
keep one completely professional?
Yes, yes. So there are, in fact, in your personal page also you can have the privacy settings addition, and you can, keep the close groups. Some posts which you can
Yeah.
post for your close groups and like that. So personal and professional should not mix. You cannot
Correct.
share your personal lives with the, patients and public. So that should
Yeah,
be
it seems unprofessional that way.
unprofessional, as well as we don't know, means social media can be as double-edged sword. So you cannot share your personal things with public. Yes.
Correct. Because everybody has an opinion about every aspect of everyone's life these days. But also, I also think that people like you or seniors like you, I don't think you all need any social media handle because people already know you. The ones who are coming new into the field, probably they still need to establish themselves via social media, but you're already established and people already approach you I'm sure that you have months of packed up surgeries, and I know that. So,
Thank you for that. But there's always a circle that is around you who knows you, and
right.
it's never ending. Okay, so like Akshay, he has this website, and he tells me that people from Rajasthan and far off means they can always look up online and search for whatever surgery they are looking for, and who is the surgeon who is doing, and then you can get your patients from far off places who you haven't heard of them by word of mouth, but through the online presence only. Okay, so you always have a close circle which knows you, but there is no end to the online presence.
Right. I agree. Yes,
Maya,
Dr.
you want to
Now
take another talk by then?
Yeah, she
I
has
think
shared.
Okay,
just
fine.
share this.
Make it full screen. Yeah.
The button is up top on the left-hand side to play from the start, and I think that would be good. We can see the screen.
No, again.
No, ma'am, on
And
the,
show, and show. Yeah.
could you end the show, ma'am? It's showing the presenter view right now. Right. And the first button, ma'am, play from the start. Yes, ma'am, that's perfect. Your audio is muted, ma'am.
Hello, good evening, everyone. Are you able to hear me?
Yes, ma'am.
Video. Thank you so much to WAS session, WAS, WOW, Dr. Mohita, Dr. Honavar, for giving me an opportunity to talk on this platform. It is always wonderful to be presenting here. We have been associated since WAS, since Dr. Mohita called us in Punjab that you be the Punjab chapter. So it was really, really nice to associate with WAS ever. And also this time in Punjab Ophthalmology Society conference, for the first time, we started with the WAS session in Punjab national level conference, state level conference. So given the topic of power of negotiation, we all know the exploring the significance and strategies we all have in negotiations. What important role does it play? Next slide. So, what is the power of negotiation? It is a mastering the art of turning conversations into valuable opportunities for personal and professional growth. If we talk about negotiation, it has got 7 elements considering interest, options, criteria, alternatives, commitment, relationship, and communication. We all know the importance of negotiation has a great role in the personal growth, professional success and strengthen relationships. If we negotiate, we can understand our goals, our needs, and cultivate self reflection and clarity. And in the professional success, it offers better opportunities, whether in career, finances, or personal endeavors. And also, negotiation is a key where we can work towards a collaborative mindset where both parties work towards shared goals. If we talk about types of negotiation, it can be distributive, interrogative, and multi-party. And what are the types of negotiation skills we need to adapt? First and foremost is the communication, emotional intelligence, problem solving, adaptability, and persuasions. If we talk of the strategies for effective negotiations, we have to understand the goals first, research and prepare, build a good rapport, focus on interest, not on positions, use effective communication, explore creative solutions, be flexible and willing to compromise, leverage timings, deadlines, and documentation is the key. Now, strategies for patient and confidence. We have to build the trust in patient. Active listening is a main goal. If we spend 10 minutes extra to one patient, we all see in the OPD that the patient becomes literally our fan. So we have to show the genuine interest in patient concerns and worries, listen attentively without interrupting, validating their feelings and perspectives. And also, we have to take responsibility of handling errors. We have to avoid deflecting blame. Taking responsibility demonstrates professionalism and reassures the patient that they are in competent hands. And most importantly, it maintains the confidence. Regular updates like keeping the patient informed about their progress, let them know their treatment results, the upcoming steps, and any challenges in the care plan. As an ophthalmologist, we all know that we all deal with difficult scenarios also. In that situations where we see that the results are not as expected as we wanted them, but most important technique stays the navigation, that is the negotiations. In all the circumstances when we feel that the things are not going our way, we have to stay calm and composed. In challenging situation, it's always vital for healthcare to remain calm and composed. Avoiding defensiveness is a key. Instead, we should focus on maintaining professionalism throughout the interaction. We have to acknowledge the emotions of the patient, be empathetic, and providing reassurance about your commitments to the well being is very essential. Highlighting your dedication to the care not only elevates anxiety but also strengthens the patient provider relationship. This reassurance can empower patients, making them feel supported and valued as active participants in their health journey. These are tips we all know in all over all these years. We have mastered them well, that we have to express our thoughts and feeling and get aligned with the patients. Also, the negotiation, it always goes in a positive work environment, increases the productivity, employees are a relationship with the employees, promotes collaboration, increase their retention and support their better well-being. Even in colleagues, if we see the rivalry between the ophthalmologist, I think negotiation is definitely key to success of the relationship. We can collaborate over competition, knowledge sharing, encourage the exchange of expertise, whether through case discussions, journal clubs, or collaborative research. This creates a culture of mutual respect and continuous learning, mutual support in the form of mentorship. Senior ophthalmologists can offer guide and mentorship to junior colleagues, helping them navigate career challenges, refine their skills, and build confidence. And negotiations also go a good role in conflicting of their resolution. In a constructive feedback, we provide feedback in a way that encourages growth. Instead of criticizing our colleagues, it is always helpful and improving the advice which is based on experience. So, self awareness, empathy, and effective communication, they're the key skills for effective negotiation. We have to recognize our personal biases. We have to understand other perspective also, and our communication should be very clear. So, key skills for the success is we have to prepare, we have to keep your workspace, tools, and knowledge organized that will help to stay efficient. We have emotional intelligence and adaptability to new formation, new feedback, and new opportunities for growth. Sometimes in negotiation, we do feel the barriers of misunderstanding, language difference, diverse expectations, approach to negotiation. Sometimes we ophthalmologists, being humans, do get angry, do get frustrated, and there's always a fear of conflict. So, in 5 C's of negotiation, if we talk, we have to take control, take charge of the meeting agenda, take charge of the patient's confidence. We have to contain to avoid any disagreements. We have to communicate, call specialized help, and create a plan. These are 5 steps of crisis negotiation strategy. And to these strategies to overcome the challenges which we face, we have to see the culture awareness, patient and awareness, and build trust. So, key influence on relationship and structure. We have been seeing in the history that how negotiation has helped in civil rights movements and financial impacts, and even in the workplace negotiation, which we do every day. So we need to have effective negotiation skill. Emotional control is most important. When negotiation get tense, emotions runs high. Staying calm, helping you think clearly and avoid making rash decisions and focus on solutions. We should have a problem solving mindset, shifting from focusing on problems or obstacles to identify potential solutions. This creates a more collaborative atmosphere. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Dr. Parul.
Yes.
And I would request our chairperson, Dr. Aarti, to give her remark on this topic of negotiation. Are you there, Dr. Aarti?
Yeah, hi. Yes, Parul, I think you very well illustrated uh, pretty much the importance of being a woman and negotiating and driving force on harnessing the power and being in the success mantra. See, I feel it's always negotiation for advocating for equality. It's a critical tool for addressing gender disparities in areas like pay promotions, workplace opportunities. It builds confidence, definitely. It empowers women to negotiate effectively, boosts their self assurance, and of course, it strengthens leadership. So, I guess as us negotiators, we do have an impact and we have a ripple effect in our family and, of course, an economic impact. So, when we are able to, kind of do a win win situation for a woman who goes out of the house and gives in those 9 to 5 kind of a schedule. So we are looking at giving our best, whereas a man is so geared up to, anyways, work for those number of hours. So we are very cost effective. So we really need to negotiate our work into multiplication and the ripple effect to really make a happy note end of the day.
Right, ma'am. Thank you.
Well said. Okay, so moving on to the next talk, we have Dr. Ellie Pradhan with us. And Dr. Ellie is the head of the Nepal chapter of WOW. And she is the chairman scientific committee of Nepal Vitreoretinal Society and also the editor-in-chief of Nepalese Journal of Ophthalmology. Also an executive member of South Asian Academy of Ophthalmology and past president of Nepal Vitreoretinal Society. So many awards and achievements to her credit. And I hand over to Dr. Ellie for her talk on mentoring. Over to you, Dr. Ellie.
Thank you. Thank you very much, Maya. So, the thing is my video is not working, so I'll have to kind of,
Okay.
I'll just share my presentation there. And thank you very much, Dr. Mohita. As always, you always inspire us, and also from other members of WAS as well as AIOC. Thank you for giving me this opportunity. So where should I? Yeah. So the topic I'm going to speak today is the power of mentoring. As we all know, so this is the place where I work, Telangana Institute of Ophthalmology. So what is a mentor? Mentor is someone who gives us help and advises over the period of time, especially to our job and career. They can be called as a teacher or a guide. And if you just imagine yourself, you're just naive and you just started your medical journey and you wish there is someone to guide you. And, it's not that we've gone through a lot to reach into this stage. So, and there has been so many mentors along our way. So importance of their mentorship was very, very important for me, for everyone in this platform, So the mentor can be of any age, of any field. It doesn't need to be ophthalmologist. It doesn't need to be senior. It can be junior, your student can be your mentor too. So we should not think in the traditional manner. So mentoring, why? Mentoring is so important, that sometimes mentoring is not just for the mentee's life. It's very important. Sometimes it can impact on our life also, because interacting with mentees, we tend to change our thoughts, and it is kind of a bilateral. So if you want something, dream, dare, do it. But if you want something extraordinary, dream, dare, do it. But with great mentors, that is where this power of mentorship comes. So why it is important, especially this is mainly for our professional development. The mentees can stay focused on their careers, they gain confidence, attain goals, and expand their networks. And also that leads to self-discovery and, especially for in early stage to growing up as a main leader in the field. So what is the value of mentoring for a mentee? So everyone needs a mentor in their career. It's like something, when we have our problems with your family, we need a family member or a friend where you can just chit chat and, take your vent out. It's similarly for our career, we need someone like that. It can be just one, it can be multiple mentors, and especially choosing a mentor, we should look for 3 qualities. They should provide guidance and constructive feedback. They're willing to share their knowledge, expertise, skills, and they're also kind of learning and growing in their field. So these are all people in my life, starting from our madam from medical school, Dr. Suras, my during residency, Dr. Rita, my sister, you know, all these doctors, and also, of course, my colleague. They're all been my mentor, I should say. And that is how I learned and, you know, kind of interacted. And so I'm really indebted to all of them. So what is the purpose of mentoring? So mainly, as I think this is again going to be repetitive, facilitate the personal and professional growth of individual by providing guidance, support, knowledge transfer. That also especially that the human connection for the purpose of learning, building new skills, and also to have empathetic relationship between colleagues, and also proper guidance and support. And sometimes, you know, because of these, you know, those mentees who have, they will have unlocked their productivity, creativity, and then finally they can be a refined person. So what is the difference between role model versus mentors? Also, they look quite similar, but then exception definition of mentor is someone we usually known to other person, like we can talk to them face to face with more experience and knowledge, who guides and teaches us. But the role model, of course, we just look upon them. It is not a known person, but whom they look up to, but the influence is the way they live and act. Is similar to Michelle Obama. She's not known to me, but then, of course, she is my role model. So why it is important to mentor young female and women? Because as you all know that, especially there is a saying that if you, you know, educate a man, you educate a single person. But if you educate a woman or a lady, she'll educate every person in the family. Because when we support the growth and empowerment of a woman, we raise the quality of life for everyone. So they can, if they are in a different field, they can lead business, they lead in the community, especially they fight for their children, for their family members. They can give voice to issues that are important to, you know, collective future. Especially for us, they will help us in education and healthcare. And what for us, why it is important? Because sometimes, even right now, sometimes we get confused with ourselves. Sometimes we do face disparity at workplace and having difficulty in life and balance, well, exams, sometimes sickness and conflict at work and the pay scale. These are all things, you know, like I still look upon my mentors who are there and get suggestions and, you know, get a peace of mind, and then I can move forward. So what are the traits of good mentor? So they build a good foundation within our relationship with our mentees. The good mentors foster respect and build trust. They are supportive and encouraging, and they can be our, you know, cheerleaders and support system. Of course, they are I'm mentor to so many my mentees. So these are the things, like all of us, I think everyone have this kind of qualities to be a good mentor. And we have to set a good example in everything we do and how we handle situations. We always need to have constant positive attitude, motivate and inspire. And also we need to be very ethical, and we need to have our morals. And sometimes, of course, we need to be tolerant because there's some kind of a conflict, and, you know, we need to advise and also show patience. And we need to be inclusive and make the mentee very free, feel free that they are around us. You know, they can open up very easily and communicate effectively. You know, sometimes even we need to share our wisdom, but we also need to empower them. So we need to be ourselves. Mentees relate with mentors who are real, you know, and we shouldn't be, you know, of course, we also make mistakes, and we shouldn't be afraid to fail, because they are observing us, like in a social media, like they are observing us. It's similarly, they are observing us and how we deal with our failure. And these mentees are always looking up to us, and they also want to be one day something like all those leaders and inspiring people in future. So of course, like we can be a mentor to so many people in so many days, but then just think about your student, and then, you know, we gain so many things from them as well. So, of course, one day of mentoring can also change a life. So let's be that mentor. And good mentor offers directions and driving tips from the back seat. You still have to drive the car. This is Michael Johnson is a sprinter, and he's he's a role model for athlete, and so this is a very good saying. And also, all my fellows, my residents, um, so who look upon me, and also I share kind of a very good relationship with them, especially for like not only for the cases and for surgeries, but also in their different issues aspect that they have on all. So this is the power of mentorship, and I know and in this platform are good mentors. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you so much, Dr. Ali. And I'm sure that your mentees must be very lucky to have so generous mentor like you. And next, we have some issue with the PPT of Dr. Ruba. So we are taking up the next speaker as Dr. Nombuso Mathe. She has just joined us. Hello, Dr. Mathe. Can you just on your video?
Maya, can we just kind of concluding remarks on the second talk also? Do we go each talk or we go in
No,
the
no,
end?
surely you can put your.
Just 2 points. I feel beautifully stated, Dr. Ellie, that as mothers we are mentors very much, and women really influence other, and they're being watched by a whole lot of mentees. So when we say as we go along like a story building, negotiation we learned, so and mentoring is just empowerment, growth, and success for individuals and organizations. So just to keenly look at the mentoring is simply guidance and empowerment. Women mentoring women create a supportive community. They have an environment wherein they exchange the knowledge, experiences, and insights, and so much so that it fosters more confidence and helps mentees take up challenges. Another thing is we break barriers. We are then able to go above the gender bias. We make a pipeline wherein successful women are all together, influencing all other women. So it makes you a leader and also a personal and professional growth. So that's how you kind of keep achieving in your goals, skills. And when you share, it's a mutual beneficial effect. As I always say, a woman is always able to, do a ripple effect. That's really to say that we page with each other. So we, as mothers to children, as mentors to mentees, can be very, very useful. Yeah. The next talk, Maya.
Okay, so thank you, Dr. Ati, for that uh, remark of yours, very insightful. So next we have Dr. Ruba Malar, and she is just told me that she is ready with her presentation. So Dr. Ruba is from Malaysia. I'll just share her intro slide. Okay. So Dr. Ruba is an MBBS and Bachelor of Medical Science from Melbourne, and also an MBA and graduate program in Health Administration and Policy from Chicago, also an FRC from London. And she is a consultant ophthalmologist in medical retina at Kuala Lumpur, Malaysia. And we look forward to hear from you, Dr. Ruba, on networking. Over to you, Dr. Ruba.
And hi, everyone. Thank you for having me. It's really an honor to be presenting today with everyone so far. And thanks, Prof. Mohita, for inviting me. Really appreciate it. I'm just going to try and upload my PowerPoint. Just hang on. Is that appearing now?
Not yet, Dr. Ruba.
No. Okay.
You need to open it in the background and then again come to Zoom and share the screen.
Yes, I have opened it in the background and I'm just trying to share it now. 1 second.
Dr. Maya, would you like to take the next talk? I'll help Dr. Ruba for
Okay.
with the.
All right.
Okay.
Okay.
Yeah, that might be better.
All right.
Sorry about that.
Okay. So Dr. Mathe, are you there? She has just.
Yes, I am.
Yeah,
I
so
don't
good.
know if you can hear me well.
So good to see you. All right. So
Nice to see you too, Dr. Hada.
so
And thank you to Dr. Mohita for this invitation.
okay. So it's a pleasure to introduce Dr. Mathe, and she is an ophthalmologist and academic head of department at the Division of Ophthalmology at University of KwaZulu-Natal in Durban, South Africa. And she has completed her fellowship training in glaucoma at Moorfields Eye Hospital in UK, and she is the vice president of South African Glaucoma Society and the president of Women in Ophthalmology South Africa is on the Global Advisory Council for Women Leaders in Eye Health. She is also a voluntary faculty for Orbis International, and her passions lie in clinical governance in eye care, surgical teaching and skill transfer, as well as management of pediatric and adult glaucoma patients. So we are looking forward to hear from you, Dr. Mathe. Over to you.
Thank you, Dr. Hada. Can everyone see my screen?
Yes, yes.
Okay, wonderful. So thank you again to Was and Wow and to Dr. Mohita for the invitation. I did mention to her that I run a list on a Saturday, so I'll in between will make time because I felt it's such an important meeting and such important and powerful topics. And I've been tasked today with talking about the power of acquiring new skills. And really, I want to start by congratulating everybody that's connected to this meeting today for being one of less than 300,000 ophthalmologists globally, taking the time out to hone and develop the skills in ophthalmology. And particularly as females, you make up only about 30 to 35%. So well done to everyone who's here for having acquired a very highly sophisticated skill of ophthalmology. When we're looking at modern ophthalmology and the need for acquiring new skills, we really can't afford to be left behind. We are in a field that is rapidly advancing, as we are all very much aware. Our patients easily access information, so it forces us to really keep up with what is changing in the world, as well as technology. Now, the technology in ophthalmology 20 years ago and we compared to now, it's worlds apart. And so we have a responsibility, not only an obligation, but a responsibility to ensure that we acquire new skills. So why is developing new skill crucial? For one, we are faced with an evolving landscape that may be from surgical techniques to the incorporation and introduction of artificial intelligence, which I believe we will definitely see more of, not only from a diagnostic perspective, but also in terms of how we teach in ophthalmology. Also, we're in a time when precision medicine is right in the forefront of medicine, as well as the urgency to start looking at personalizing the care of our patients. Also, we have a responsibility to ourselves to stay relevant. In a fast-changing world, the last thing that we want is to stay stagnant and really being left behind. There's a lot of emphasis nowadays in terms of patient outcomes. And when we are ensuring that we are keeping up with the development of our skills, we allow to create an environment for ourselves and for our patients where they can enjoy improved outcome and where we can really raise the standard of care for our patients. And then lastly, we have numerous global changes, which we have a responsibility to adapt to. And that really speaks to, especially in the areas like some of us that we work, where there's still a lot of disparity around access to eye care. And, you know, coming from a history of being led in terms of academic and understanding disease processes, where we know that there's still low representation in research in terms of a varying demographic of our patients. Now, when looking at what the impacts are of achieving and obtaining new skills, importantly, personal growth. This really encourages one to be confident as a practitioner. It encourages us to develop mastery around certain areas, and also it really stimulates job satisfaction or satisfaction in the work that we do. Of course, we know in terms of professional growth that this allows us to expand ourselves. It allows us to also develop expertise within areas, and in time, we are afforded opportunities to lead in those areas. And then, of course, in terms of our community, not only our general community with our patients, developing skills really can impact and address unmet needs. It's important in the community of ophthalmology for the transfer of skills. And of course, with research and academia, being able to generate new knowledge that can be shared and dispersed within our community. Now, for me personally, developing new skills has meant that I've been presented with opportunities to work in environments where I might not have had the opportunity to work in, being recognized as an expert in my area of interest, and being able to enjoy transferring of skills. And this was a picture that was taken in one of my recent trips to Zambia, where I assisted the doctor that is the glaucoma specialist in the teaching and academic unit to develop the skill of goniotomy as well as shunt surgery, which is not available in Zambia, as well as another junior doctor from Malawi. So this meant that we're able to introduce new techniques for the management of the pediatric glaucoma patients in 2 countries. This is, the impact of being able to develop new skills. And then, of course, new skills don't have to just be clinical or technical. It can speak to non-technical skills, which can enable us to be able to be more effective in terms of communication, as well as counseling of our patients. And we know that when we get that right, the outcomes for our patients are better and patients have better experience. And nowadays, patients will seek out better experience. They'll seek out better treatment modes. They'll seek out those that are in the forefront of technology as practitioners that will manage them. So there are, of course, numerous hindrances around skills development, some of which will include time constraints, which I'm sure all of us, especially as women, we tend to carry the weight of the world around us, and we're having to divide our time between all the different hats that we wear. And so we must be cognizant to not let the time be a hindrance to us in developing skills, and really find ways to create space for us to be able to develop. The other important thing is the fear of failure, and most importantly, imposter syndrome. And I'm sure many of us have had to deal with this and have had to deal or assist our trainees that may be experiencing such impact. And I think it's an important one, especially as women in a field that has primarily been a field dominated by males. Imposter syndrome is still a very rife problem amongst women surgeons in our community. And then lastly, resource limitation. Often we may find ourselves in environments that are not well capacitated to support some of the development that we may need to endure. So how can we go about developing new skills? One important thing is to really try and identify the gaps. There's still areas where there are lots of gaps, whether it's skills, clinical skills, it's research skills, gaps in how to approach patient management, gaps in terms of improving patient outcomes, gaps in clinical governance around eye care. These are areas that still remain as gaps. Another point is being able to really search out and utilize available resources. And really, we live in a time when there's so much information. It's free webinars, it's free platforms, it's videos, it's lectures, and really the responsibility is on us to be able to search these resources out. Another way is really an old school way, is to not let go of mentorship and connecting with communities or societies that encourage learning. And then lastly, I encourage a smart approach to developing goals to help you develop new skills. And this speaks to goals that are specific, that are measurable, that are achievable, that are relevant, and that are time bound. And when you're more structured in terms of your approach to developing goals and skills development, you're likely to be successful in that endeavor. And of course, skills are not isolated to medicine. So this is me having taken myself through developing some new skills in farming. And so for me, the journey has really been about creating a space where I can develop more in terms of my holistic approach to my own life, creating space where there's peace, where I can connect with nature, and where I can start exploring how to live a more self-sustaining or a life that is driven with self-sustenance. And so some of the skills I've learned is understanding how to plant, how much care needs to go into growing seeds, how to build my own trellises, and also, you know, the whole idea of life and death, and how plants move through very similar cycles in terms of life and death, and then coming back up to life again. And so this has been really quite an interesting journey for myself, and one that's been really most fulfilling. And also understanding that as someone who's already tried to attain a significant amount of knowledge through ophthalmology, there's a whole world of knowledge waiting to be explored. And for me, it just happens to be in farming. And so I leave you this afternoon with this quote from Brian Herbert: "The capacity to learn is a gift, the ability to learn is a skill, and the willingness to learn is a choice." Thank you so much for your attention.
Thank you. Thank you so much, Dr. Mathe. So thoughtful of you, acquiring skills not just limited to ophthalmology and nurturing them so well. Dr. Aarti, any remarks?
Yeah, I think Dr. Mathe, you almost inspired each one of us, because as women, we really need, we can really do well in more than one skills. And when I say skill, we can only stand out in the so-called imposter syndrome, which we all always feel. Am I right? I'm on the right person for the right job. So I guess unless we are skilled to surpass our, colleagues, our mentor, we can be a mentor to mentees. We can negotiate better if we are more skilled. So I guess everything falls second to the most important thing, which is that you need to be capable. And when I say skill, it's a continuous development of technical, interpersonal, strategic skills also, which enables women to excel in diverse fields. It's upskilling, reskilling, and it kind of remains, you need to be competitive in this evolving industries. So I'm so happy to hear that unless each one of us is able to be a skillful persona, like doing farming or doing surgeries, we have a long way to go. And I think we women can do much better than men in being more than one skill acquired to the bestest. Very
I couldn't have
inspiring.
said it better. Couldn't have said it better myself. I fully agree with you.
Yeah, very true. So moving on to the next talk, we have Dr. Ruba with us, and I think she is ready with her presentation now, Dr. Ruba.
Yes, I am. I'm ready. Sorry about the delay.
No
And
problem.
I'm just going to try this again. Take two, everyone. Yeah. Has that come on now?
Yes.
Okay, great. Once again, thank you so much for having me. It's been like a very enjoyable session, and I've really come away with so many pearls. My talk today is about the power of networking in ophthalmology, and I think the power of networking goes beyond even ophthalmology. It just helps us in our day-to-day, just getting on as human beings. And as we all know, no man, no woman is an island, so we all need networks. But just to get into it,
Yeah. Can you make it full screen, Dr. Ruba?
sorry, it's not full screen. Okay, hang on. That better? Yeah.
Perfect.
Okay, so why should we network? Really, it's to strengthen existing relationships, expand our horizon and our circle, our network, and also to answer questions. Sometimes, we've got questions about not just, life opportunities or even in your work about how to manage a case or something. And yes, a lot of us Google, a lot of us read, but sometimes it's just, meeting somebody, telling them about your issue, and, the answers present themselves to you. So really, why network? Because it gives you opportunities. You can't jump at every opportunity, but really it gives you it opens doors for places and things that you didn't think were possible sometimes. And everyone talks about connections. It's not what you know, but who you know. I think that is slightly true, but I think before any of that, you need to have your skills, your knowledge, and then these connections just elevate whatever you already have. Basically, it's also getting advice. So just, having like-minded colleagues, whether in your subspecialty or outside of your subspecialty to talk about, to, give you opportunities or to get advice on patients. So really, it's like through these connections that you can build, access knowledge, increase your learning. It also, gives you exposure to what you're doing, so not only does it help to build your practice, it also helps you, with your causes or interests or even your research. So, there are just so many reasons to network. And of course, the foundation, the fundamental element of networking is really to be proactive. So putting yourself out there. And sometimes it feels like you're just wasting your time because, you feel like you're just going, you're meeting people, you're talking, you're listening, you're at these conferences. And it might feel like you're, sort of putting yourself out there and running yourself really thin. But then when it all connects, it's quite amazing how, one thing leads to another. And I'm actually going to talk about my own personal story and just show you that. Yeah. So really for me, I was quite a typical medical intern resident. And, I think I was a little bit stuck. And I think you can see from my, lots of letters behind my name, sometimes it looks impressive, but really it was an outcome and it's a result of not knowing where I was headed. So my parents were both GPs, general practitioners, and I was always exposed to that, and they were like, just be a GP because, the lifestyle is so good. You don't have to stress and all of that. But, that always, it never seemed to excite me. And I always knew I wanted to use my hands. And yet I didn't want to do OBGYN or something so super surgical. So I was one of those people who was very stuck in indecision mode, really. And so how did I choose ophthalmology? And, it's of course God and all of that, but it's also serendipity. It just happened that, I heard a lot more about ophthalmology through my sister, whose really good friend, her best friend was an ophthalmology resident. And actually she's Anna Tan, and a famous medical retina doctor working at Singapore National Eye Center now. But we were friends, and she was the one who told me, the great aspects about ophthalmology, really, about how that you can have a very well balanced life and you can still have a 9-to-5 GP lifestyle, but you can still do lots of, surgery and technically interesting, fine surgery. And, so that just opened my whole world. And then, I also ended up doing a research fellowship at the Wilmer Eye Institute under Dr. Walter Stark. I just saw, cataract surgery for the first time and how such elegant operation could really change the lives of patients. And it was 20 or 30 minutes. And yet, the outcomes you were getting were, sometimes, counting finger, hand movement, cataract to a 6'6" patient, and, their lifestyles had just changed. And, that was very eye-opening. And that is also true, it was also a connection that I made through networking and just through my interest to just join and, watch these surgeries and then become part of a research fellowship there. And then yet again, it was always at these turning points and milestones in my life where I found that, yes, your knowledge, your skill, all of that, those are the bread and butter, but it's the networks that actually bring you and elevate you to the next level. And so again, when I was deciding on my subspecialty, and I had the opportunity to actually work at the Birmingham Eye Center with Professor Philip Murray, a very good, famous uveitis professor. And, he was the one who, really got me interested interested into how, you can see everything through the eye. It's all in the retina. It's all in. So, and that really sort of, got me thinking about doing medical retina. And he actually knew Professor Jemmy Chung. So this is another network personal introduction. And then he introduced me to her and he said, because you're from Malaysia and Singapore is just next door, please look Jemmy Chung up. And, if you ever get your opportunity, do your fellowship at Singapore National Eye Center. And, true enough, that's exactly what I did. So, and then in just so many other ways, but I'm just showing you like concrete ways where I think, in a way, like it felt like, serendipity, but actually it was just a whole bunch of people and networks that led me to the place that I am right now. And, it just enabled me to meet a lot of my mentors and colleagues. And, even now going forward, I've met, Prof. Mohita, I actually met at APAO just in Bali, and, we've, become, friends. And I'm so honored to be, be able to be involved in talks and panels with you and others. And, I just feel like it's an ongoing thing. So I wanted to actually find out from other people, the other participants, what their journeys were. I can continue, or shall we maybe open it up for a bit?
Yeah, Dr. Roop, I think we can discuss it towards the end because
Okay.
we have next talk lined up. So
Okay. No problem. I'll keep going then. So, okay, some tips for networking. So, apart from what I mentioned about, just talking to people personally and in conferences, also build your social media accounts. So have a presence on LinkedIn, Instagram, like what we've been talking about in the previous talks as well. So be active on these platforms, and obviously have an aim, like why you want to put yourself out there. Is it for potential mentors or to get mentees or to, just let people know about the work that you're doing? Also, like I mentioned, communicate with people during conferences. So, if you can do it in a very sort of educated and time-efficient way. So look through the meeting program, pay attention to the speakers who you want to speak with beforehand. Sometimes you can even email them beforehand so that, because they're all very busy and they've got research and other things that they're trying to coordinate. So if you can plan to meet up with them during a time in the conference or after their talk or something, that would be great. And even if you've, had a bit of time to think and have some prep work beforehand to think about questions or, things that you could collaborate with them, that would be even better. And, it's always through these, firsthand sort of meetups that, that initial trust is built. And then moving forward, it's very much easier to communicate via email. So other tips are like joining your YO meetings that they have or your online forums, even like forums like these, ophthalmology conferences, your National Society mentoring sessions and annual meetings. And I mean, the great thing is we can connect and form these networks from the comfort of our own home. And it really broadens the access to ophthalmology and just the ophthalmic community in general. And just it makes us all realize how, basically the whole world is actually, we're so small and, we are so interconnected. And also, I think, it's a good way for the first introductory step, and it's like a natural sort of icebreaker. The other reason, the other way that we can network as well is to collaborate in research and other team-based activities like, organizing meetings, being on a panel such as this as well. And, it's very easy, much easier to be involved in research, especially for retrospective observational studies, where most patients can be included, and also the analysis is easier. And this enables you, to also collaborate with other institutions and other specialists across the country or even internationally. And, in the same way, sort of have lasting friendships and also further patient outcomes. Also, I think a very good way to network is to ask your mentors for introductions. So you may have a mentor in India or in Malaysia, and they may know other mentors overseas, in other parts of Asia or America or wherever you want. And getting that introduction from a mentor, from someone more senior to somebody else, it just helps facilitate, the conversations that you want to have. And, it also establishes trust. So that's another way as well. So just to summarize, I think, sometimes you think about networking and you can get lost. And, I think you put in a lot of effort and a lot of time and you feel like, you don't know what you're getting out of it. So I think identify your goals before any event. See who do you want to speak with, what do you want to get out of it? Are you looking to connect with someone in your subspecialty or outside? Have you got an agenda? Have you got something that you want to collaborate with? So have it all sort of thought out and written out, actually. And then, research potential contacts before attending a conference or a meeting. And so you make the most of your time. Have a pitch. So really have something that you want to say about yourself, what your plan is, and how they can help you and how you can help them. And follow up after the event. Send an email or connect with them on social media. And even like something like just taking a photograph at a conference, I find that is like so helpful. And then emailing them with that picture and saying, hey, we met at this conference and you mentioned that, we could collaborate on this study and, do you remember me? And, it just really helps. Also attend your local events and even organize your own events. And leverage your social media platforms like LinkedIn. So that's basically all I had to say, actually, about networking. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you. Wonderful, wonderful, Dr. Ruba, for your tips on networking. I think all the audience must be benefited a lot. And because we have another talk soon, so I think we should move forward and we can discuss it after that. So I think we have saved the best one for the end. Can you please stop sharing? Okay. So, all right. So we have the talk on leadership skills, acquiring leadership skills, and who can be better speaker than Dr. Namrata Sharma ma'am. And we all women ophthalmologists look up to her when it's about leadership. She is the former General Secretary of AIOS and current Chairperson Scientific Committee of All India Ophthalmological Society, also President of Corneal Society of India, and so many affiliations and traditions to her credit. Yeah. Okay. So I'll ask Dr. Rolika to share the recorded talk of Dr. Namrata because she cannot be present over here because of some other commitments.
Sure, ma'am. I'll just share the screen. Is my screen visible?
It's not yet appeared. Yes, now it's.
Okay.
If you look at the leadership by women globally, the figures are not too great, and whether it is All India Ophthalmological Society or it is other international societies, it is only 17%. And as of now, if you look at the members in these societies, close to 70% or about 2/3 of them are women as opposed to men. So the ratio is just reversed. Breaking the ice applies to everything, whether it is patient care and surgical skills, teaching, research, or leadership. And I think it is very important to have role models because role models make it a lot easier. The learning curve becomes shorter, and if there's some role model you can emulate or some role model who you work in close vicinity with and who is able to tell you what to do, I think it saves a lot of effort and it saves a lot of mistakes which you would do and then learn, and it makes the learning curve a lot more shorter. So when you're looking in the OPD or in the clinic, it is important to watch the patients very carefully to do a good examination. Surgery is again very important because ophthalmology is a surgical branch, and some people, they actually have inherent surgical skills, whereas others have to acquire those surgical skills by practice. Again, in these cases, you have to have teachers and you have to have role models and you have to assist them surgeries before you actually embark on surgeries yourself. It is important to present as you go, and this could be any kind of meeting. It could be a state meeting, national meeting, and gradually you graduate to the international meetings. Then there are meetings where everything gets accepted, so you should go and present there, and there are meetings where only limited things get accepted, And again, it is important to present there as well. Now, you may or may not present at all meetings because of funds or because of inability to take leave from your institute. You may not be able to go, but it is important to be a part of the group or part of a unit who you are working with. So at least even if you don't go, your name would go, and your name would travel faster than you. So it is important to be a part of a team who's doing a composite work. And again, after presenting, it is important to also publish. Now, publication could be a new concept or an idea, it could be a rare case report, it could be a new technique, a new complication, a new indication. And of course, before you try to publish, one must know how much has already been published. So the publication can be in the form of a letter to editor or case report or retrospective study, and as you graduate further, you get into prospective clinical studies, the multi-center trials, the lab-based projects. This is just to show that I did publish initially, but I did not go into meetings. There were 9 years in between when I attended no meeting. And then I realized that it is not only important to publish, but it is important to also present, because there has to be a face to the publications that you have been doing. So these are my publications in some of the journals, and like I said, you start from a journal which is down the line and then gradually keep graduating to journals with higher impact factor. Now, just to give you some examples, Trypan Blue staining of anterior capsule by Jarrett Mellis was a letter to editor. SLET by Dr. Sangwan, which has become so famous, was again a case report. And tuna packet injury or calcium hydroxide injury, which is so common in our country, was a small correspondence of 2 paragraphs in Lancet. So it is important that as soon as you get an idea or as soon as something is novel, you should immediately put it on publication, because you have to put a stamp on it, because you've thought about it first, because if you delay it, then there would be others who do it before you, and then you're going to feel bad about it. Now, case report is also very powerful. Just to give one example, this was a case where we had used one cornea into 3 recipients, and then we went on to do component surgery of the cornea, where one donor cornea was used for 3 recipients. We realized that there was nothing published on it. So we published this, and this got accepted in Archives of Ophthalmology. Then as soon as something new comes, like this was the time when dyes were introduced for anterior capsule staining, we did a lot of studies which were very small, in fact, with small numbers, but they were novel. So they got published into various journals. Phaco at that time was new, and again the various nucleotomies got published. Then refractive surgery came into being way back in early 2000, and again the techniques or anything new that we found, we published. And once you publish in the various journals, then you get invitations from journals like Survey of Ophthalmology or Current Opinions in Ophthalmology, which are the review journals. And as you go by, you become a part of an international collaboration, because your work shows in that particular field, and so you do collaborative studies. Now, sometimes everything that you think is what we are doing in practice is not published. For instance, this, we never knew that randomized study between fluoroquinolone versus combination therapy is not published, and when we looked at the literature, it was not there. So we this study, and you don't know what is an opportunity, because this was again 16 patients with 31 eyes who fell into a ditch which had sodium hydroxide. Then we just documented this, and this got published in American Journal of Ophthalmology. This was a follow-up of almost 3 years, and sometimes it is important that you document everything so that it gets published as and when required, or at least gets presented as and when required. Now, it is important to publish immediately after you present, because you may be presenting a particular thing in various conferences. This is one example, double bubble talc, which we were publishing in various places, and we were presenting in various places, and we didn't publish it, and we realized that it had got published much before and ours publication, that's why it got rejected. So it is important that you are vigilant and you publish immediately after you present it. Now, rejection of any particular publication does not mean that it is not their priority. You have to sometimes change categories. For instance, if you are sending as original article, you may have to change it to innovation, or you may have to change it to a photo essay, because there the submissions which are there are less. Now, just to give some example, this article on topical p-fluoxetine in bacterial keratitis got rejected 17 times, and still we published. So it is important that you do not keep any publication in your computer, but it is there on the internet, so that you are so that anything that you've actually written sees the light of the day. Now, it is important to change continents. For example, if there's some article which has got rejected from AGO, Archives, and Cornea, that means it's in US. So you change to British Journal of Ophthalmology, or you change to I, or so you send it to UK, or you send it to Australia, and this is one way of getting it published somewhere or the other. Now, there has to be continuity in research. For instance, if you are publishing in corneal ulcer, then we worked on Netasol, and then we got it patented. So when you have published or worked in a particular field, continuity is required, or the various ways of doing corneal transplantation. Again, continuity is required in this, and then you write a review article on targeted corneal transplantation in Current Opinions of Ophthalmology. So as far as publishing is concerned, all ophthalmologists in the world are intelligent. All of them are thinking alike, and you don't have to be smarter than them, but you have to be faster than them in conception of an idea, execution of an idea, and publishing of the idea. Now, this is our book on corneal transplantation. Again, now we've come out with the third edition of the book just last year. Then one particular video, when you present, you can actually present it in the same calendar year and can send it for submission for awards. So if you make one good video, you can send it to multiple places in the same calendar year, and you can win awards for them. But like I said earlier, that you should always publish even after winning awards. Awards is not the end and be all of everything. Now, as far as professional societies are concerned, I know that not very many female ophthalmologists are willing to take this role, but if you have the desire to do it, if you want to contribute to the society, then one should do it. There is a component of self-hesitation, and there is a component of time as well. But I think if you want to make time, you can make time for everything. It is said that if you want to get work done, you give it to the busiest person, because he would find time or she would find time to get it done in the quickest possible manner. Now, as far as the leadership is concerned, it is important to know that true leadership cannot be appointed or assigned, and titles, I feel, are often meaningless. Leadership has to be earned, and power is in the person and not in the chair. And so it doesn't matter whether you have the chair or not. If you want to do it, you will do it. When you want to get into leadership role, it is important to tell your vision to people, because people do what people see, and it is important to communicate the vision, to model the vision, and to set the example. Again, in leadership roles, you have to identify role models, mentors, and you have to be part of the networking group to be a part of the leadership process. And I always say this, that communication is the key to success. So it is important to connect to people, to communicate. It is important to do hard work, but it is also important to project that you have done hard work. Projection is something that we as female ophthalmologists don't do. We are very hardworking, we are very good followers, but we should be very good leaders also. I think leaders should also know when to give it up. It is important to empower others, so that you do develop a second ring of leadership after you. It is important to make others win, and it is important to empower others and bring about change. So, word about Women Ophthalmic Society in India, which I thought, like so many female ophthalmologists, is perhaps not required, but I do feel, and my sister Dr. Mohita Sharma started this, And she said that not all female ophthalmologists would get opportunities which possibly some of them would have got, or which possibly you have got, and it is important to create opportunities for everybody and hence this society. And I think it is doing a great job. Now there is a World Ophthalmology Women of World WOW, that is the Women in Ophthalmology Worldwide, and I'm sure it is doing a great job, not only nationally but also globally. Like I said, that people buy into the leader and then the vision. So just to give one example, when I was trying to get into All India Ophthalmological Society, we did put up our 15-point manifesto for people to see. And if people believe in you, they do give you opportunities into leadership role, and this is the AIO's headquarter building. And subsequently, of course, is another story, because the path after that was also not easy. It is important to understand the system you get into. You are actually amidst the leaders who know it all, and that is what happened when I entered into All India Ophthalmological Society. You have to figure out everything yourself. The help is not forthcoming on its own, and the first year was a learning phase for me. And I realized that you cannot implement, execute everything that you want to do, and everything needed had to wait for some time to get approvals at all levels, and sometimes you even have to do lobbying to get approvals on what you want. And just to give you one example, wet lab idea, which was started by me in year 1, actually became AIOS Prayogshala in year 6, so it took almost 5 years for it to happen. But it does happen if you want it to happen, and I think that is the grit that one must have, and I feel all women have that, because they have to do so much of multitasking. Again, in leadership roles, sometimes you have to do advocacy, and you have to knock at the doors of multiple offices in Government of India, in state government. Again, networking and constant follow-up is something that is required. The trivial issues you may have to tackle, which are very small issues, to mountain heads, which are very hard to tackle. You may have to do crisis management like we had to do during the COVID, and then management post-COVID, because that is again another story. And of course, deal with the conferences and the CMEs that happen. Sometimes they are less, sometimes they are more. And I think it is going to be a different presentation on what happened after I got into All India Ophthalmological Society. So, a word about personal life. I do feel that balancing really doesn't happen. It is an illusion, because it leads to mediocrity. You have to strive for excellence. So the focus has to be sequential, and it has to be event-based balance. You have to focus at both the fronts, whether in the personal life or in the profession, depending upon which takes upper hand. And of course, support from the family is really required. So my acknowledgements to my family, who's been really very supportive, and thank you very much for your kind attention.
Thank you, ma'am. It's always so inspiring and enlightening to hear you. Dr. Aarti, please.
Yeah, I think it was, as I put it in my favorite words, it was a bazooka enlightenment webinar. Maya, you so gracefully, as I always admire you for that, conducted the program. And I'm so happy to hear each one of you. Rolika, you were a bomb, in the sense, the way you kind of negotiated a talk in between the talks. And that, of course, talks huge about the fact that women really want to come upfront to make it a success. All this is just equipment to empower us to be our success mantra. Each particular quality, be it be mentorship, negotiation, networking, uh, mentoring. So all of this is just making us a better professional, and we can't take it that we are just as a hobby maker professional. We need to stand tall, and this gives us an equity with gender. It just makes us give back to the society. It is definitely required, and this webinar, being so general, is so specific And each thing is just telling us to be more skilled and to inculcate each quality as we discussed here. So I guess I'm happy to have gained, and Dr. Namrata's beautiful words that of course you have to be on the mark. You need to network. You need to take initiative in publication. We are very poor as women, and in fact, me myself, I end up just seeing the OPD. How many times are we really looking up and doing those, recorded surgeries and all of that as publication? So we have poor percentage in the incidence of people who, as women who do publications. And also the fact that, you have to be the face, who's the success mantra. It's not the power in the seat you get, it has to be the power of the face. You need to be present in the conferences. And I would encourage everybody, if it just goes viral, as we are, if this webinar is going to benefit the mentees, we should attend conferences. We can't be in our inertia, as that's Dr. Mohita's favorite word. And I do get inspired by both the sisters, that you have to come out of your shell. And unless you present, unless you publish, unless you make a mentee telltale behind you, it's a camaraderie. And I think words fall short in the fact that, Maya is a success mantra for me. Dr. Ellie is superb in her bit of region. I was so happy to hear Dr. Mathe and the one about farming, which was told to us. So it's about go the way along and keep inspiring everybody around you. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you so much, ma'am. And we are just finishing on time. And thanks to our session coordinator for putting up it so well. And she is like, I think she has slept just for 1 hour, and it's like 2, 3 a.m. over there. And kudos to her for such hard work. Yeah. So over
That
to
was
you.
excellent. I think your
Thank
contribution
you.
will go a long way. Yeah.
Yes.
Thank you so much.
Thank you, everybody. Should
Thank
we have a
you.
picture?
Yes,
We
yes.
have a picture. We could do
Sure.
that.
Yeah. Everybody can just turn on their videos to we can have a group photograph.
Can I
And I would
request?
rather say thanks to Dr. Mohita for creating
Yes.
each time a webinar of excellence, and how much she empowers women. I think it's all her efforts to have had these particular topics which go a long way in making a woman a true professional. And kudos to her, and I would say 3 cheers to her.
Yes, definitely. All right. Thank you.
Bye-bye.
Thank you,
Bye.
everyone. And next, we will be having this session in Hall B. That would be on anti-VEGF injections. Where are we in 2025? So stay tuned, and you will be back on 6 p.m. IST for the next session. Thank you.